data models. Okay, so so, so from the DBMS, the two concepts are remaining. What do you mean by data models and the overall structure of the data models? Okay, so we will start from the data models. Okay, so basically the data models, it is related to the overall structure of the database. Okay, so database or a data models, it is a collection of tools for describing the data relationship, data semantics, and as well as the data conditions. What kind of conditions we will apply on the particular record names or the attributes. Okay, so this is the structure or data model. It describes the overall design or overall structure of the database. So basically it is the collection of data relationship, data semantics, and the data constraints. Okay, so data models can be classified as a 4 different types. Okay, so we will discuss one by one. So the first is the relational model. What do you mean by relational model? This is the first type of a data model. So relational model, it uses a collection of tables. Okay, so relational model, it is nothing but a table also, a relation or a database. Okay, so the definition of relational model is, it is a collection of tables, okay, to represent both data and relationship among those data. So basically the table consists of multiple columns, and the multiple rows are there. Okay, so each column has its unique name. So column itself, I called it as these are my record names, or in a database language I called it as it is my attributes. Okay, so basically the relational model, it is a collection of a one tabular table format. The table is there. Okay, so this table consists of record names. So record name itself, we called it as the attributes. Okay, so it is a collection of columns and a collection of rows. So rows are nothing but the actual record we are entering into the database. Okay, so this simply we called it as it is a collection of attributes and the collection of rows or the tuples. Okay, in a database language, attributes, columns called as attributes, and the rows called as tuples. Okay, so relational model, it is a collection of tables to represent both data and the relationship among those data. So what do you mean by relationship among those data? So that we will discuss in the next type as a entity relationship model. This is the second type of a data model. So this ER, we simply called it as a ER model also. E stands for entity, R stands for relationship. So it is a entity relationship model. Okay, so now what do you mean by entity? So entity, it is nothing but one kind of a object or a part. Okay, so the ER model, it is a consist of a collection of basic objects. So any type of thing or the object we can see, a human being or non-human being, a whatever is there, the object, that object we called it as it is an entity. Okay, so this, for example, the customer account, and this relation between the customer and the account, we called it as this is the entities, these are the object. Okay, so relationship, I want to make the relationship between the two and more objects, so that I called it as this is the data and the relationship between the objects. Okay, so this model is about the entity relationship model. So entity is simply the thing, the particular thing or the object which is different from other things. Okay, now suppose I am taking the entity, this is the one object. Okay, so this customer, this is the one object. This customer ABC should be different from the customer XYZ. Okay, now in this case, the two types of ABC customer and the XYZ customer, this we called it as a two objects or the entities. Okay, so entity relationship model, this is the collection of the basic objects. Okay, and this relationship between the this Objects, we called it as this is the entity relationship model. See, in this diagram the two entities are there. Okay, so this is the customer entity. Okay, so this is my customer object. This customer object is having the different kinds of column names, or we can say the record names are present. So customer is having the customer ID, name of the customer, where he is living, and the address of the customer. So this four column names I called it as these are the attributes for for this particular customer entity. Okay, so similarly for the account entity, this is the one kind of object or the thing. This object should be different from the customer. Okay, so then only I can make the relationship between both of these objects. Okay, so for this account is having the attribute as a account number and the balance, and I want to make the relationship between customer entity and the account entity. So depositor, this is the relationship between the customer and the account, because customer is depositing his money, depositing his balance into a so and so account number. So I am making the or designing the relationship between customer and the account entity. So this we simply called it as it is a collection of objects or the entities and the relationship between both of these. So this we called it as a entity relationship model. Okay. So this is the entity relationship model. So moving to the next type is a network data model. So network data model, the data in a network model are represented by a collection of records. So this is the third data type or third model as a network data model. So data in a network data model are represented by a collection of records. So see here, these are the records also. This is the first record, and this is also the second record. So this record is about this figure represents for the customer and loan database. So this on the left hand side, this column is about the customer database. Okay, and on the right hand side, this about the loan relation or the loan database. So loan consists of name or number of the loan as well as the balance amount is there. Okay, now the customer is consist of the customer name, customer address as well as the customer ID. So two tables are there, customer and the loan database. So a network data model, it is the collection of the records and the relationship among the data, and that can be represented by the link, which can be viewed as a pointer. We can say in the figure, I want to make the relationship between both of these, this customer database and the loan database. Suppose I want to make the relationship between C1 and the C2 with the L1 loan. So I am just pointing the one arrow to the L1 database or the L loan database. So this is the difference between entity relationship model. We are just pointing to the two entities by the particular relationship, but in a network data model, we are just pointing the between the two objects. This is the customer object and this is the loan object. So I want to make the relationship between both of these. I am just pointing the one link from between these two objects. Okay, so a link, it is particularly associated with the particular two records. Okay, now this is my one record and this is my two record. So the link should be it should not be between the one or the two records. Okay, so this is the one example for the network data model. So network data model, the data which is present in this type of model, it's a collection of records. Okay, and the relationship between both of these records or the object is represented by the simple a link. This can be represented by the particular link or the pointer. So this is the network data model. Okay. Now the last data model, data type is about the hierarchical data model. Okay. So what do you mean by that hierarchical data model? So this hierarchical data model, it is little bit similar to the network data model. Okay. Now in this diagram, the links and the records are present. Each link or each record is pointed to the next record. Okay, so it is little bit similar to the network data model where the records are present and each and every record has to be represented, make a relationship between via a particular link or the pointer. So similarly for the hierarchical diagram or the hierarchical model, so it is a consist of the records also. Okay, and the relationship among the data is to be represented by the link or the pointer. Okay, but the only difference is that it should be represented is in a one graphical or the arbitrary graph model. So we can see in the figure, this figure shows the one kind of a hierarchical graph or the one kind of a tree structure is present for this hierarchical model. Okay, so this is the basically consist of the records and the relationship between the objects, and that can be represented via the link, but they should be linked by a hierarchical or the graphical format. So each record is it a collection of fields and each of which contain only one and one data. Now see here, this is the table or this is the database hierarchical graph for the student database. So see here, this is my root node. Okay, so this is my dummy node where the actual data is present for the hierarchical for the next level. So this is my parent node, and level on the lowest level, these are the my leaf nodes. So this student is consist of student ID, name and age of the students. So these are the records. You see, at each level, one and only one value is present for the this particular level. Okay, now same here is for this record also. Okay, so it is a collection of the records and the relationship that can be represented via the link, but it should be represented is in a graphical arbitrary graph format. Okay, and the each field consists of one and only one data value. Okay, so this is the root node, this is the parent node, and these are the leaf nodes. So okay, so this is the hierarchical data model. The data should be represented is in the form of a arbitrary graph. So this is all about the data models, relational, entity, network and hierarchical data models. Now the last concept is about the overall structure of the database management system. Okay, so this is the overall structure of the DBMS. Okay, so the sum points from this figure we have already completed. Now see this on the, I am starting from the top of the figure. So this we called it as this figure. I am talking about this one on the top of the figure. So this module, so basically the DBMS structure or the database structure is divided into the 4 parts or the 4 modules. So starts from the top of the figure. This module is for the user database. Database users are present on the top of the structure. Below that, next lowest level is about the query processor level or the query processor module. Below that, the storage manager is present, and below that on the lowest level, the structure data storage is present, where the actual data we are storing into the database, that part which is on the lowest level of the structure. So the database structure is to be classified or divide it into the 4 modules as a database users, query processor, storage manager and the disk storage. Okay, so this database users we all already discussed. Okay, so there are number of types of the users which are working on the particular database structure. So we already discussed what do you mean by new users. So new users, these are the one kind of end users who directly interact with the database with the help of the one kind of application programs. Okay, so that application programs which is already written by the application programmer. Okay, so the new user, they are directly interact with the database or the disk storage with the help of with the use of the application interfaces. Okay, that application interfaces or the programs which is already written by the application programmer. So application programmer, these are the professional users. So simply they can write the programs for so and so interfaces, application interfaces. Okay, so this is the new user and this is the application programmer user. And what about the sophisticated users? So sophisticated users, they are interacting with the database, but they are not directly interacting. They can use the query languages or use the query statements. So by using query statements, now they can interact with the database system. Okay, they are not allowed to directly interact like the new users. They indirectly interact with the database with the help of the query tools. So how many query tools are there? What do you mean by query? So that we will discuss in the next. So simply the sophisticated user, these are the one kind of user, they indirectly interact with the system by using the database query languages or the database query statements. Okay, they are just using. Okay, so by using that query languages, they are interact or they can communicate with the data storage. And what about the database administrator? So database administrator, it is the DBA person who control. This is one kind of a person who control the central database system. So how much memory is required, how data is stored, what kind of management is required related to the memory, all kinds of jobs has to be done by the database administrator. Okay, so for doing so and so job, the database administrator requires some kind of tools. So what are those tools? So that tools will require in a query processor. Okay, so simply I can say the system structure or the data storage is again divided. This is the storage also, and this is the actual data where the database is present. Okay, so data storage is also divided into the two parts as a query processor as well as the storage manager. So what do you mean by query processor? So this query processor, this also include the different parts of the queries or the interpreter and the compilers and the linkers. So what do you mean by compiler, interpreter, linker? We already discussed in the computer languages. Okay, so this kind of parts we are all this kind of parts which are required in the query processor. So query processor, this basically includes the DDL interpreter. So this interprets the data manipulation statements. So what is the data manipulation statements? This data manipulation DML queries. So these DML queries are related to the what kind of operations we are doing onto the database. It is about the selecting, it is about the deleting or inserting. So that kind of all jobs has to be done by the DML query processor. So simply DDL interpreter, this interprets the DDL statements. Okay, so what about the DML compiler? So this DML compiler, so this DML compiler which translates the DML statements, the particular DML statements into the query language that particular query engine can understand. Okay, so this is all about the interpreter compiler. Before executing the query, how the particular query statement has to be compiled. So that job has to be done by a query evaluation engine or a query processor. So this part has to be controlled by the query processor. So what about the storage manager? So basically the storage manager is, it is the one to store the any kind of data into this database, and that can be handled by using the one person. So that is about the storage manager. The storage is important because whatever the database requires a large amount of data to store. Okay, so storage manager, it is the component of a database system. Okay, so this is the one kind of a model, one kind of a module which requires in a database system. So this storage manager which provides the interface between actual data and the queries. Now these are the queries. Okay, so this is the DML queries. Before entering, before getting the particular result, we have to submit the one kind of a query. Okay, so storage manager, it is the intermediator or interface between the DML queries and the actual data. Okay, so the storage manager, this storage manager is responsible for the this and these four kinds of components. What are those? So storage manager is responsible for the authorization. What do you mean by authorization? So the storage manager will check the authority of the users to access the data. So that job has to be done by the storage manager, who will access the data. Unauthorized user cannot access it. Okay, so that kind of observation has to be done by using the authorization committee of the storage manager. Okay, so what about the next, transaction manager? So this transaction of the storage manager ensures that whatever the database remains is in a correct state if is in a system failure is occur. So this kind of transaction manager will check whatever the data we are storing into the database, that data should be in a correct or valid state. If some kinds of failures, system failures, or some kinds of problems are occur. Okay, so whatever the problem will occur, the data should be in a correct form or valid format. That observation has to be controlled or done by the transaction of the storage manager. Okay, so what about the file manager? The word itself is defined. File manager, so this manager will manages the allocation or the space on the disk storage. How much memory is required, what kind of space is required for so and so operation. So that job has to be done by using this file manager of the storage. Okay, so this is also the third component, file manager of a storage manager. Okay, so last one, what about the last one? So the buffer manager. So this buffer manager is belongs to the storage manager. This manager will check for used for fetching the data from disk or the memory. What kind of data we are fetching, we are accessing, we are retrieving from the actual database. So that observation and that job has to be done by the buffer manager. So simply the storage manager is divided into the four managers. Authorization, it checks the authority who user can access the data. And the transaction manager, it will check the data that present in a database, it should be in a correct format if some failures are occur. What about file? So file manager will check how much allocation of space is required. And what about buffer manager? So buffer means actual the particular data where data is stored. Okay, so the buffer manager will check so fetching of the data from the particular database.